We are live. Hey, everybody. It's Lady G from Transform Lives Podcast with you this evening. As I promised you guys, we were going to have a special guest today. And you see, he done made himself comfortable and he's relaxing. He got his little wine with him. And we are live on Instagram. We're live on Facebook and we're live on YouTube. And we're here tonight just to tell a story. Right, Transforming Live is all about transforming one life one day at a time through the lens of the community. And that means that basically complacency is not what we want to do. It's not a thing anymore. We're supposed to be striving to do better, be better. And if we can do that with our lives, we can do it with other people by helping other people. So we have none other than a special guest who is my bonus son, Donta Gillie. And I'm going to say, y'all help me clap it up for Donta Gillie. For Donta Gillie. Live. So Donta, I gotta tell you, Donta, that on Instagram your heat is cut off, so you might wanna
let me
adjust it a little bit.
Let me adjust it a little bit. Let me see.
Adjust it a little bit. Hey, y'all out there in social media land. All right, that's better. That's a lot better. That's a lot better.
Now I gotta get the phone to stay. I gotta get the phone to stay up.
You gotta find some gadget.
I know, right?
Some kind of gadget to get it together, because you don't want to be your heat cut off on Facebook and YouTube, and then it's all right on Instagram.
Come on now.
It's all right. It's gonna work itself out. Work itself out.
One more.
So while we waiting on Donta to get it together, his story, I titled that story From Prison to Purpose. And it's a reason why I did that. And I'll talk about that at the end after we finish with the interview. But from prison to purpose. Donta spent 15 years in a federal prison, and he definitely has a story to share with the masses, right? We can only imagine, if you've never been there, let alone spent that amount of time behind bars, you could never say, I've been there, done that, and I know how I feel. But we're here tonight to just discuss some of those things and tell you what he's doing in his life today to make his better choices and what he's doing for the community, right? What he's doing for the community. It's all about from prison to purpose tonight. Prison to purpose. He has a purpose. He has a purpose. We all do. And if you don't know what your purpose is, I suggest you find out what your purpose is. We all have one in life, and we want to fulfill that purpose before we leave this earth. So, Donta Gillie, welcome again. It's all good. It's all good. All social media outlets is all good. So, we're going to start off with questions. We're going to get into it. Y'all, we apologize. We had some technical difficulties on my part. I won't blame him on my part. So, we're a bit late, but nevertheless, we're here. We're here. And if you have any questions, I'm sorry we're on Restream, but I'm telling you, if you put them in the comment sections on Instagram, I can see them. But on here, Facebook and YouTube, I can't. But pose your questions, and we'll be able to come back at you and answer those questions. So let's get it down to the nitty gritty right now. Right now, Donta, I already said your name, but I'm still going to ask you to introduce yourself. Then the next question I'm going to ask you, tell us where you grew up, what school you attended, and how many children you have. A little bit about your dynamic, your mom, your dad, your siblings, and things like that. So start off with that before us.
How y'all doing? Good evening, everyone. My name is Donta Gillie. I grew up in the West Side. Well, I grew up all over Baltimore, mainly the West Side of Baltimore. My mom, Lord rest her soul, passed away last year, 2 years ago. I'm sorry, and my dad, he's still amongst us right now, doing better with his health and doing better with himself. So I'm proud of him. Even though it's a struggle, I'm definitely proud of him. Schools I went to, let's see, Commodore John Rogers Elementary School. Shout out to them. I'm alumni to them. Green Spring, Pimlico Middle. Oh man, I went to like 4 different high schools. Like I was I ain't do most of the stuff that I was accused of, but you know, circumstances has pushed me to 4 different high schools. Northwestern, Southern, Harbor City, and Patterson was the 4 high schools that I went to.
Okay. Okay. And how many children do you have?
I have 5 children. I have 4 older children and 1 on the way.
Okay. And their age ranges?
From 20 to, well, excuse me, from 24 to 19. And then, like I said, I'm ready to have a newborn between October the 1st and October the 3rd of this year.
And that's gonna be a little boy,
That's
correct?
going to be a little boy. So we was in the beginning of the pregnancy, we was told that we was having twins.
Okay.
And then a few weeks into the pregnancy, we was told that one of the twins had vanished.
Oh wow.
So we lost one of the twins due to the vanish of twins syndrome.
Oh wow. Sorry to hear that.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. So what we're gonna touch a little bit about your childhood, and we're gonna talk about the path that led you to prison. And it's up to you to how far you want to go into it, much you want to detail it. But I ask you to be as transparent as you possibly can, because without transparency, you can't help nobody. We
That's understandable.
How much can you help them? You know what I mean? And the choices that led you there. Let's get into the meat of it.
Okay. So coming up in a single parent household, um both my parents was battling their own inner demons that they was going through, unbeknownst to me. Um, there was a lot of back and forth between my parents. Most oftentimes I stayed with my dad, and oftentimes I was with my mom. My mom's addiction, however, had the best of her during that period of time where we was growing up. And during that period of time, it was me and both of my brothers at that moment of time.
So okay, I skipped that part. I'm sorry. How many siblings do you have?
I have
Oh,
5 siblings.
okay, and they
Three.
are two girls. What are 2 girls and 2 boys, right? And
That's correct.
you're the fifth one. Okay, go ahead.
Right. That's correct.
So you basically was with your mom, and this early stages of your life, your sisters weren't there yet. So you
No,
started with just you and your brothers.
that's correct. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. That started with me and my brothers. Um, we growing up, we didn't have the we didn't have the how can I put this? We didn't have what we saw our friends having with the parents and both of the parents in the household having their bare necessities that they need to enjoy their childhood. My childhood was cut short because again, my parents was battling their own inner demons. So I was basically fending for me and my 2 little brothers.
Need to.
Yes,
Your parents didn't require you to, but being the oldest, you felt the need to.
that's
Am I
correct.
right?
That's correct.
Right. Okay. Okay. Mhm. So go ahead. I was
Oh,
just
so during that time frame, like I said, I was around and leaving elementary school, going to middle school when my brothers and them started coming into the world. And back then, my mother and father was together. Um, around middle school, I say around about the 6th, 7th grade. That's when everything started to one went right and one went left, and then we basically went left with the moms.
okay. And so in that time frame when the separation happened between your mom and your dad, you still were, you lived in, because I know you grew up in on Robert Street. I know you grew up on, and were you down the projects as well?
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, were you down Murphy Homes and then things of those were those environments we can honestly say back then. How old?
I'm 43 today. Lord, Lord
43.
bless me to see 43 years.
Okay, that's right. So 43, and back in those days, the environment was drug infested.
Oh, it was
Just
heavily
call it what
drug.
it
It was
was.
heavily drug infested. During them days, it was so drug infested. They used to sell marijuana in the Manila envelopes with the 2 sheets of top paper. So
Every
that's how far back I come up in.
right, right. And so I can remember, see, because I remember it, as you guys were coming up, like, and even when I was up, there was cocaine, there was heroin, um, what is that? What was that other thing where they it was something that they called smoke it with the pipe,
Crack.
the
It was
crack.
crack. That was the
All right,
80s.
crack. That
That
came.
was I'm an 80s baby, so that was the 80s epidemic when the crack hit the inner city neighborhoods.
Okay, okay. And so just tell us what. Okay, so you felt like you felt the need that you had to for your brothers and sisters because at this point you was with so
Right.
she's still fighting her demons. Your dad gone, he's fighting his demons. You still felt like you had the need to provide for them and yourself as well. Because you got to remember, you wanted you want things the other kids had, right? That your mom
Right.
couldn't afford. That led you to a life of doing illegal activities.
That led me
Am I
to a
safe to
life
say
of
that?
yes, that led me to a life of doing illegal activities where I started out stealing from my homeboys, taking little things like video games. I asked them to borrow it, and then when they wanted to get it back, I'd be like, "Oh, all right, yo, I'm bring it back," and never gave it back to them. Also, it led to me stealing from my grandmother, Lord rest her soul. Um, she used to ask me to clean her room up because we were staying with my grandmother at the time too. So she would ask me to clean her room up, and I would find money on the ground or money in her socks, and I would just take the money and put it in my pocket instead of giving it back to her. Things of that nature. It's something that I'm not proud of today, but back then, seeing my friends with what they was having, leaving out from school, and I'm looking at my clothes, and I'm looking at my shoes, I'm looking at my friends' clothes and shoes, and I'm like, oh man, like I want that, or I gotta have that. So I started doing little things as being a little corner man, looking out on the corner, letting the other dealers know when the police was coming and things of that nature, and I would get paid a couple of hours at the end of the day for that. And I would take that money. I make sure that me and my brothers and them had something to eat. They had their little food and stuff. I brought me a little outfit here and there. And then when I outgrew that outfit, I basically passed that outfit down to my little brothers who could fit that outfit.
Okay. So at this time, you were at the age of what?
At this time, I was at the age of between 12 and 14.
You were 12 and 14. So
Yeah, I
you
was
were the
born in
lookout.
Mississippi.
You were the lookout. You was
Yeah.
the lookout. And back then they did use young boys and girls to be the
So,
lookout because they knew that they got in trouble, they were going to be
right.
released to their moms anyway, right?
Right. So back then, when they used us as when we was lookouts, I'm gonna say when I was lookout, I remember one time the police had rolled up on the corner. He said, "What are you doing out here?" And I said, "Oh no, I'm just waiting on my family to come." So he was like, "Well, what part of your family is you waiting?" Because back then the police they didn't act the way they was acting today. And let's understand that. Back then, they was actually walking in the neighborhoods. They was on foot patrol. They was
They was
on beat.
walking the beat.
They was walking the beat. You know what I'm saying? So they was very interactive with the community. So they
Right.
basically knew who your family was.
Mhm.
So for me to say that I was waiting on my family, they wanted a name to go with who I was waiting for while I was waiting
Mhm.
on this particular corner. And they would let it be known like every day around this time when I'm walking this beat, I see you out here. You say you waiting for your family. And that's what I be having. It just like at that given time when I say that and we have that interaction between the police, my mother come right around the corner.
Wow.
She come
Wow.
right around the corner. What is you doing? I'm like, nothing. The officer was just asking me what I was doing right here. All right, we ready? You ready to go to the store? Is you done talking to my son? And they be like, yes, man, we done talking to your son. So we walk right over there to the store, and the police will take off. And then I give my mother like $5 or $10, and she go right back around the corner. I'm right back. I'm right back on the corner looking out.
So it became habitual, and it,
Right.
it got good to you. It got good to you because that was your money to help feed. Give your mother a couple dollars and help feed your brother and clothe your brothers. And
Right.
at this time, Daddy didn't know anything about this because
No,
he was out fighting his
he's
demons,
fighting out.
right?
Yeah, that's right.
So at this point, then you graduated at some point, and you were like, well, you know what, I you know I want to get in the game, and I'm not here to tell you to snitch on nobody or to give no names or who put you in the game. So eventually, you got in the game because you wanted more. It got good to you, and that's typically what happens, right? When something gets good to us, and
We
and
tend to
then
want, we
huh?
tend to want more.
You was
So
sick.
during this time frame, I was out there with a couple people and they basically they was my during that time frame, they was my support. That was my little structure. They was making sure that I was eating and I was making sure that they stayed safe so that I can eat, so that I can feed my brothers.
Right.
So it got to a point where I was like, um, what's the next step for me here? Like I don't want to be sitting on this corner, sitting on that corner, sitting on that corner. Like I need to know more because my little brothers and them is growing up, and I need to be able to provide more for them. And they was like, well, we're gonna put you in a stash house. So you're gonna watch the drugs, you're gonna make sure the money is good and this, that, and the third. So that's where I was at. I was sitting in the stash house all day. And when people came for re-up, I would make sure that they had their re-up. I make sure that the money was straight to a T. And then at the end of the night, my payment increased.
I understand. I understand. So I know it was a period of time that your dad came and got you guys, right?
That's
And
the
that was a indication of you guys living in a more um suitable environment, and you guys were in school and things like that, and you were into basketball, and uh I know you guys separated from one of your brothers, and then I'm trying to skip along a little bit to let people know that
it's
there was
understandable.
a time frame where there was solitude in the family, where they got back with their dad, and the dad was raising them to be productive members of society. Now, I don't know, and I'm not here for you to do any confessionals, but I don't know if your dad knew anything about what you were doing previously. But I do not know at this point he was getting his life together, and he wanted to do right, the best, and give you guys give you structure, right,
Right.
in that environment. And so that you can talk about a little bit, and then you can go back to how you got back into the game that led you into prison. You can talk about
So this was around high school years. I was about 15 years old when my dad came back. Um, he did get his life together, and he was, he was coming in to be that structure. I was sort of the rebellious one of it because I felt like, to me, inside of me, I felt like, well, when I needed you the most, when we needed you the most, you wasn't there. So now that I'm 15, you ready to turn 16, it's not really nothing that you could tell me. So, we went with him. We ran away from him because we just wasn't feeling what he was trying to show us then and the way we live in our life now. So we was bit, and my brothers and them was kind of rebellious because of me, because me being the one during that time frame of being young, making sure that they ate, making sure that they had good clothing on their back, making sure that they was going to school, they was doing what they had to do in school. I wasn't trying to be their father. I was just trying to be the best big brother that I can be.
and you
So
still
my
are
father,
today.
thank you.
Yeah.
So when our father came back in our life, um, I was kind of rebellious against it. I wasn't trying to hear it. I think at this time he was staying out. He was staying on Smallwood, and then he was staying out Brooklyn, Maryland. And
Okay.
I didn't like the area. I didn't know nothing about the area. I didn't want to be out there. To me, it wasn't nothing popping out there. So I was basically like, man, first chance I get, I'm out. And my
Right.
brothers in life was like, don't leave me, don't leave me. And I'm like, yeah, all right, cool. We're gonna roll out. There's been times when we would stand up on Smallwood where my dad went to sleep. We left out the back door and walked all the way back down to the project.
Mm. Okay.
We wasn't trying to hear that during that time frame. Well, I wasn't trying to hear that during that time frame. And
Mm.
a couple times where I told my little brothers, like, yo, y'all chill here. I'm going to take care of a few things. I'll be back to get y'all. They wasn't trying to hear, no, we want to go with you. You know what I mean? So I look back at it today and I didn't have that structure. My grandfather tried it, but when he came and he took my little brother, my baby brother with him, and my one of my little cousins with him, and left me and my other brother with our dad. So more so, I was like, we felt like we was being divided. We felt like we was being split up, and I wasn't trying to have that because all I knew when they first came in was it was me and my brothers.
Right. Right. So in that and that's understandably so, because when you're in an environment, right, where you are used to a certain environment and then change comes, and then you got a little bit of resentment there because you weren't there, and then you got structure over here, he's trying, but in the meantime, in between time, you've already introduced yourself to a lifestyle, right, that you don't want to give up because even
That
absolutely not.
lifestyle during that time frame, to be completely honest, that lifestyle during that time frame, the elevation that I was doing within that time frame, it became an addiction. It became my own addiction for me. I started to
Right.
see, instead of me seeing 300, I started to see 3,000.
Right.
And then after the 3,000, I started to see 7, 8, 9,000. So it was something that I was like, well, I got money, I got little women on my arm. I'm taking care of this, I'm taking care of that. I became the anchor for everything. It wasn't something that I was willing to let go.
Right. Absolutely. It's what it, like you said, it was an addiction. And we all know
Exactly.
about addictions, right?
There's
From
multiple forms of
one
addiction.
way or that's right. Multiple forms of addiction. And so this choice is you to prison bit about
Yes.
that a little bit.
So my imprisonment came with and this is something that they don't tell us back then because statistically all they care about is a number. Your number, your name, your number, and we get profit off of you for housing you in here. So when I became in prison, it was more or less um, stateside first. I haven't done a long stretch up until me going with the feds. My one of my stretches I did was about I want to say 18 months, and I looked at it like a joke, like, oh man, I'll be home in 3 months, I'll be home in 4 months. Like, man, they can't hold me in here. Like, they can't hold me. I'm going back out there. I'm still a man. I'm going back out there. I'm still a man because I'm not cut from that cloth of many others take that way that easy way out. The bed that I made, I laid in it.
Understandably so. So after the state, after you did your 18 months out and with the state,
Nah,
because you still was addicted.
my addiction was the best thing going for me. I did that 18 months. I came home. I think about 15 bands, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm all the way up now. See, to a lot of people
Yeah.
back then, what I be trying to explain to people when I be having conversations about that back then, $300, $500, $700, 3,000, 7,000, 9,000. Back then, during that time frame, it was like you hit the lottery. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Absolutely.
as you get older, you start to see like, oh man, that wasn't nothing because time changed.
Back then it was so.
But it
Yeah,
was something
because
back
time
then. You know
changed.
what I'm saying? It was something
Yeah.
back
Yeah.
then.
So So within those 15 years, have you been in within that federal, like the states where you
Woo.
rotated to different states?
Oh wow! So, man, I went in young. When I went to feds, I went in young. I went in young. I went in.
How old were
I
you?
was about 25 years old, and that was my. I was being
25.
sentenced to um 15 years for felon in possession of a firearm.
15 years for what again?
For felon in possession of a firearm.
Felon in a possession of a firearm. 15 years. Well, right now, possession of a firearm is only 5 years.
Well, that right now it is, and back then, I fell under something they called Project Exile. So what it was if you had more than one felony, and then the feds pick up your case,
Forgot about
they
that.
can enhance you. They can enhance you based off your criminal background. This is something that they don't tell you when you start to progress and receive backgrounds, and you start to do time.
Okay.
Even if you sentenced to a year and a day, it's a felon.
So
So
go ahead. Go ahead.
So what happens is if you sentence to a year and a day, when the feds pick you up, they can go back off of that time frame, no matter how long ago, and they can put you in a different category. It's like I said, it's all a numbers game with the state and the government.
Got you.
So once the state releases you, or the feds tell the state, go ahead, dismiss the case. We gonna pick them up because we gonna get more time out of them than you all gonna get out of them.
Exactly. Exactly.
So
So
when that happened in my court date, um, they was trying to offer me. First of all, when they first locked me up, they gave me like $500,000 bail.
mm,
And
a
I was
great
like,
actually was a Nobel. Mm.
yeah, I was like, wow, y'all give me $500,000 bail. I said, okay, cool. I got a number. I'm ready to get out. So one of the COs down Central Buckley was like, all y'all niggas in the city, and this is how he talked. He was like, all y'all niggas in the city think y'all big money, think y'all got money, and this, that, and the third. Y'all ain't gonna be satisfied till the feds come get you. So I was like, man, feds don't want me. I'm not no mafia type dude. I ain't no none of them people, man. I make a little change and I get out the way.
Right,
Like
right.
that don't mean nothing. Shorty, look at your paperwork. So in the state, I started looking at my paperwork and I noticed an FBI tracking number.
Wow.
And that's what alerted me to that the feds is watching me. So when I seen that, and I was like, oh wow. I said, he making sense now. So I kind of prepared my brothers and them. I said, listen, man, um, I don't want y'all to travel down this road that I'm going in. The feds is ready to come get me. I don't know when, but they're ready to come get me. And I don't know how long I'm gonna do. Um, I need y'all to do better than what I'm doing. Going back a little bit, uh, my last high school was Patterson, and I had 6 months left before I graduated and received my high school diploma, and I dropped out because of my addiction. I had the money, I had came into a lump sum of money, and then it was just all out the window with school. It was like, oh yeah, I got this, I don't need that.
Because
Uh,
let's go back that a little bit. We can come back.
okay,
You're how tall?
I'm 6'6".
And you're 6'6", and you have potential to be in the NBA.
I actually was getting ready to be drafted or get ready to go to University of Maryland to play with the Terps.
And
During
but
this
your
time frame,
addiction,
but my addiction during that time frame, I wasn't I wasn't trying to hear that. And my father, the structure was there, but I still was kind of rebellious. And it's things that there was one game in particular that my father came to, and it was us versus Southwestern. And I think I was at probably about 25 points before the middle of the second quarter. And Gary Williams was, Lord rest his soul, Gary Williams was in the stands.
mm,
So we went into what my coach called a timeout, and he pulled me to the side. He said, I think you're showing off. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And I had no knowledge that he was in the stands. He was like, the coach from Maryland is up here. You going ham, huh? I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't have no idea that what you talking about. So the third quarter, one of the centers from Southwestern had came down on my ankle and broke my ankle.
oh
I
wow,
suffered a fracture on my left ankle,
Oh
and
wow.
I still played throughout the game though, and it was very impressive to him. So I got offered to come down during the off season, take a walk around campus, and see if this was a good fit for me. I always dreamed about playing for the Terps. I always dreamed about playing in the NBA. But again, my addiction, and then when I caught that injury, it was like, it's over with.
Yeah, yeah. So just to piggyback a little bit, and we went off the course of the the questions. But your 15-year bit in different prisons, right? If you can, you don't have to say them, but how many? If you can, if you can recollect, how many during your 15-year different prisons, different states that you encountered, and let's talk about the conditions. Let's talk about a little bit of the things you experienced in there. I mean, let's that's
so
that's to get that's just talk
so
about.
so so during my 15 years in the feds, I went to I was in New York, I was in Pennsylvania twice, I was in Philly, I was in New York again, in Brooklyn. Um, where else did I go at? Uh, so I'm gonna just name all the prisons I've been to
Okay.
because most of them are still in the same state. So
Okay.
starting out, I went to FDC Philly, I went to MDC Brooklyn, I went to Otisville, I went to Fort Dix, I went to Lewisburg Camp, I went to from Lewisburg Camp, being as though Lewisburg just has a camp in the USP. And this is the different formalities of the federal system. They start out with a USP, a medium high, medium low,
Mhm.
and satellite camp.
Okay.
USP stands for United States Penitentiary, and that's a 6 to 12 foot high wall where all
Mm.
you seeing is nothing but the sky.
Jeez.
Um, your rec time is considered inside of a yard, and you look at nothing. You don't see nothing but the clouds in the sky.
Wow. Wow.
Medium high, you have 2 to 3 barbed wire electrical fences around you. Medium low, you have 2 fences around you, and satellite camps, depending on what camps it is, you may have 1 fence, but it's not barbed wire.
Mm. Wow.
The conditions in them. Somebody once told me when I was little, well, when I was in the streets, like, oh man, they eating good in the feds. They eating steak, they eating shrimps, they eating lobster, and that may be true once upon a time. But going into the feds and the conditions in the feds, it's not something that I would want to wish on any of my worst enemies.
Mm.
Um, I feel like the conditions, if for some reason that people, and you have some people that's in the world that actually jail is their second home. Like they
Right.
don't know nothing but jail. I
Right.
didn't want to be one of them type of people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I went in when I was 25.
Right.
When I went in when I was 25, I came out when I was about 38, 39. And it was a headache to be told by somebody that's younger than you. Hey, it's time to go to bed. TVs is off. Y'all can't come downstairs. Oh yeah, y'all can take a shower during this time frame. That's not something cool. Having your freedom stripped from you. It was a hard pill to swallow. But again, I made that bed and I had to lay in it.
Wow. 15 years behind bars. I'm just gonna keep on saying that. And I
And
just
I didn't mean to cut you off, Mom. Um, I want y'all to understand that even though I did time, my family did time, my friends did time. It's not just you doing time. You locked up. You don't have nothing to worry about. You don't have no bills. You don't have because even though I was where I was at, I made sure at least every holidays and birthdays my kids had something from their father. You understand what I'm saying? I made sure that I had some type of way for them to come visit me when they was able to write me, talk to me, answer emails. I call you on the phone, pick up, tell me what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So it's a difficult way of raising your children if you do have children and if you are in that situation. Not saying that it cannot be done. It's just difficult because you don't have that versatility to, oh, they acting up in school, you can go over there and go up to school and talk to them. You have to talk to them from a wall, and you almost 500 miles or 3,000 miles away from where they're at. So
Right.
it's like a lot of times I lied to my children. Dad, where you at? Oh, I'm in college. Oh, I'm out here in this state doing this job, doing that job. And the reality hit me where as though I didn't want to keep telling my children that. And then as they got older, oh, I don't want no job or no college where it's take me away from my family like it took my dad away. It took for my
Then,
youngest son. It took for my youngest son to Google me. He Googled me at the age that he was.
wow,
He had Googled me, and he came to visit me. And he was the first thing he said. He was like, "Dad, why you lie to me?" And I was like, "What are you
mm,
talking about?" He was like, "I Googled you, Dad. They got 6 pages about you." And I was like, "For
mm,
real?" He was like, "Yeah." He was like, "I thought you was in school all this time." He like, "That's why I've been." He told me, he said, "That's why I've been acting up because I thought you was in school, and I didn't want to go to no school that kept me
mm.
away from my family." So I had to
Wow,
tell him the choices I made before he came about, before his brothers and his sisters came about, landing me in this situation.
wow. As you got closer to your end date, because you 15 to the door, am I correct?
No, I didn't do 15 years to the door. So I was sentenced to, first I signed for 120 months, which is in federal system, they go by months. They don't say years. So
Okay.
first I signed to 120 months, which was 10 years. When I went to receive the 10 years, this is when I found out about a pre-sentence report. What they do like when you fill out a job application and things like that, they run your background. So the federal government ran my background. And in the federal government, if you remember me saying, it's a it's different levels and categories. So your category can go from 1 to 6, and then your levels can go from 0 to life. So
Okay.
when I first was receiving this time, um, they was actually trying to keep me for life.
Wow. Wow. So let's do this. Wrap this up, but I don't want to leave anything out. I just want to know, as you were preparing your anxiety mentally, what were you doing to prepare yourself back into society? And when you got into society, what were the things that you started doing to get? How hard was it to be back in society as well, being gone for so long?
Well, it was definitely kind of hard. Preparing my mind mentally started while I was still doing my time in the federal system. Um, like I said, I came in at 25, and by the time I was like 29, 30, I just asked myself like, this is what you want? This is what you comfortable with having somebody tell you when to eat, sleep, and shit? Excuse my language, but it's like if this is what you comfortable with, then keep going the way you're going. But know that you keep going the way you're going. They tried to give you like the first time. There's no telling if they will be successful in giving it to you the second time. So realizing that, I started taking up programs. I first got my GED while I was in there, um, and I was doing a whole host of programs. I came out with at least between 70 to 80 certificates that I utilize to this day. I also received my birth certificate and my social security card in there. So coming out, I still had rules and regulations I had to follow because I had 5 years of federal probation, and I had a PO, a probation officer that was tight. She was letting me know like, I see everything on paper that you was doing. I see how you changed your life around. I want to keep this. I want to make this a success. I want you to make this a success. So I'm not going to let you slip. The moment you slip, I'm sending you back. So I gave myself, with the assistance of health, with the assistance of her, a zero tolerance mind frame. Like I got zero tolerance for all this crap. If I can be patient and live off of at least $25 to $300 a month, I can live off whatever I make out here in the streets. I had
Absolutely.
to market my own self the same way I market myself out there in the streets. And it
Okay.
was a tough. They have programs that does that in there. And when you come out, it's all on how you utilize that to your style. If I can stand here and I can do this for day in and day out throwing stones and rocks at the penitentiary, I can stand here and I can earn this type of income without having to look over my shoulder and worry about who coming to take it from me.
So I don't think this is on the paper, but I'm going to say this: your resilience, your determination, to do what you need to do to stay a productive member in society, and also for 15 years being behind bars, and you also taking care of your mental, right?
That's correct.
Because that did something to you mentally.
Yes,
That also said to you, I don't want to go back there because that was something that I experienced, and I definitely don't want to go back to that.
that's correct.
So, what I want to say is, you have a mentor. I do. I know you have a couple of people that you rely on. I also know you take care of your mental as well, which is helpful to you. Why is it important for you to go to counseling or therapy? Why is it important?
Honestly, I looked at it back there like, man, I don't need no therapist. I ain't crazy. I ain't gotta talk to nobody, tell nobody my business. Like, people don't know me. Like, what they gonna tell me if they never did what I did? Like, man,
Right,
get out of here. But when you express the trauma that you've been going through, you've been dealing with from childhood to the time frame that you start to open up, you find that the weight of your shoulders get a little lighter.
right,
Um, some therapists, what I would recommend, you find a therapist or you ask personal questions to a therapist, and if they answer it, you will know. If you're a good judge of character, if you can feel a person's energy, you'll know how serious they are about your rehabilitation, getting you, keeping your mind, keeping you focused, keeping you sharp. And if
right,
they don't answer, if they say it's getting a little personal, it's not a no that they don't care. It's just they don't feel like they should open up to you without you opening up to them.
right.
Having a therapist is very helpful. Again, I lost my mom recently. Since I've been
Grandmother.
home, I lost a lot of people
Yeah.
close to me that came to visit me, that waited for me to come home, only for them to transition into the next life where I felt like I was cheated. And multiple times dealing with depression, dealing with anxiety, dealing with insomnia, dealing with a lot of things that destroys a person because it's designed to destroy the culture. It's designed to keep you separated, keep you here because we need money off of you. We make money off of you. It's social and economical engineering. It's a form of slavery. You're gonna work on this field for $17 for 17 cents a day.
Jeez.
You're gonna work on this area for 11 cents a day.
Right.
So if you're gonna sit there, you can go through all of that. You got a shot of making $17 an hour.
You keep on saying I, my addiction, my addiction, my addiction. But I'm going to chuck it up to your whole experience of being incarcerated, and getting incarcerated was the environment. You were a product of your environment.
Correct.
You were a product of your environment. How many others are product of their environments out here today, and are seeing themselves going down that road? Because you actually you saw it. I mean, there was conditions. You wanted to be that big brother who took care of the family. You saw your mother struggling, you saw your father struggling, you saw a way of life, and it led you to a life of, not a life of prison, but some time in prison. Now, with that being said, how are you helping the youth today and mentoring today to try to make that one person there? If it is just one person that listens to you out of 50, then you've done your work. And why do you feel like it's important for you to be a mentor? Why are you a mentor, and why do you feel like it's important for
I
you to
feel
be?
like it's important because our children are our future.
Right.
Our the roads that we took, that we come up off of, it shouldn't be detrimental for our children, especially if we learn from our own mistakes. I didn't want to be one of the ones that came home and a kid that when I left was a child and now is a early teen or late teen, but still look at me as one of the OGs or the triple OGs, and you still out here doing the same thing that I was doing, just not getting you nowhere.
Mhm.
It's time for you to make a change. If I can do it, you can do it.
Right. Absolutely.
It take time and it take
Right.
a great deal of patience, but you
Absolutely.
have to realize that at the end of that tunnel, when you start to see that light and that light start to shine, you don't have to do this. I'm not even going to lie. The whole time that I was out there doing all this and that,
Hmm.
the closest thing to a driver's license I had was a permit.
Right.
I was using my permit to buy cars. I was using my permit to drive other people's cars. Oh, you got a license? Yeah, I lost it, but I just still under my permit.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gone.
Right.
To
Right.
have a valid driver's license today
Means the world to you.
is the world to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yes.
know, like it's just like an accomplishment. Like I look at my license, like, boy, you got your license, boy.
Right. 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 It feel good too.
Yeah, like
Right.
I do stuff just to get pulled over. Got your license registration. Here you go.
Yeah. 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 I ain't running. I ain't doing
I
nothing.
don't got nothing to run for. My
Right.
license
Right.
good.
So who? So it's important for you to have a support group. Who are the people in your life that are your support group?
Oh man, my kids is my support group. Shout out to my kids. Shout out to my bonus mom, Mama Wanda. Shout out to my dad. Shout out to my lady Tia, my goddaughter Zaya, my son that's coming in this world, Sakai. He's giving me all the energy that I need to keep pushing forward. Even when I'm tired, I stay up at least 2, 3 days out of the night just looking at him in her stomach, like, boy, come on, boy, it's that time, boy, it's almost that time, boy,
You
can't
sound
wait
like
for
a
it.
happy day.
Yeah, I am because again, my addiction kept me away from seeing. I seen out of all four of my children, I only seen one of their birth. I was there, I was present for two,
Right.
but only seeing one.
Right. So
So when they was pregnant, I was back and forth in jail.
yeah. So
This
so
is the first time.
next week is it, huh?
This is the first time that I've been on a full pregnancy.
Yeah. Yeah. And
This
it
is the
feels good.
first
Yeah.
time, Lord willing, that I'm going to actually see a natural birth.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am I'm ecstatic about it.
I know that's right. We all waiting for him to come
I'm
in the world.
ecstatic about it.
We're all
I
waiting.
would I would like to show my lady, but she ain't gonna get on camera. I just want to show her little stomach. I want to show her little big stomach, but she ain't gonna get on camera. But it's all good though.
What's she sitting there saying?
Yeah, she like my
I know.
goddaughter right here. Come here, mama.
So,
My
so
goddaughter right here.
have how are you?
Good.
That's good. You doing good today?
Yeah.
You all ready for school tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Good. So Dante, what is your what's the end goal? No, not the end goal, but what is the goal for you for a better life for Dante? What does that look like?
It looks promising. I still do. I'm not. I mean, to most, I am Iron Man. I am Superman. I am Incredible Hulk.
Your restraint. Okay.
To most.
Go ahead, because you're restrained.
Oh, what else? Okay. So again, to most, I am Iron Man. I am Incredible Hulk. I am Superman. But I'm still human. I still go through trials and tribulations to this day. I don't let that define me. I try to look at the greater good of it. One of my major supports, a few of my major supports, are now in paradise. So I know they're looking down on me, and I always want to make sure that they're happy, that they are pleased with the way I'm going with it. I don't want my kids to go through Nothing that I went through. And that's something that my dad used to always preach to us. Like, I don't want y'all to go through what I went through. I don't want y'all to go through what I went through. And hence, I went through it anyway. So if me and my dad can determine my children, his grandchildren, his great grandchildren from going through our path, that's a success for me. Ultimately, I want a nice house. I had my own business. I want a nice house. I'm working in my business and working in myself, and I'm working for other companies as well. So I keep myself busy so that I don't have to navigate or transition back into that street life.
Right. I know you were working for the school system. I
Yes.
know you were helping with that. You any opportunity for you to talk to if you're there. So if the time permits, if there's on here like they have a way when they want to entrust Dante and to telling them his story or even guiding uh, way, shape, form, or fashion. You can on Facebook. Does a business, and I've been reposting his business as well, and he's been putting testimonials on there where people are saying certain things about in the business. So various things like a handyman, little jobs or whatever. That he that's it right there, true to living, and you can find that on Instagram. You can find Dante's Gillie personal page on Facebook. And the season is about to change, so but still, he does some
The
hauling.
season's about to change, and I'll be out there shivering, snubbers, shoveling snow.
Nothing. No, I do know he's got job, but however, small businesses just help small businesses out here. And like I said, if you needed a mentor for your child, and you are a group. I'm putting this out here for the groups as well. And if you want to ask Dante to do a little volunteering, or you want to pay him, or whatever the case may be, to be part of your group with mentoring children, I'm sure this is passion.
It
So
definitely
I'm
is.
sure, and that's why I had him on here. And not only to tell his about his passion to help mentor children, and we still have children that are disadvantaged, and being a part of their environment with on wayward. I'm sure he will be okay and all right for you to talk to him. I am delighted. I'm ecstatic that you came on, and I just wanted to get that story out there to the masses. Not only that, I wanted to promote your business. So, if you have any final words you want to say, you can go ahead and say it.
I just want to let everybody know that's dealing with any type of traumatic experience, any type of loss, any type of poverty. Um, you just need somebody to talk to. You want somebody to listen to you and actually listen to you and hear you. You can reach out to me. I'm a great listener. I don't tell nobody business. I keep everything very private and very confidential. Um, you don't have to have that fear of me not understanding, because whatever you think you done, I did it. No homo, no diddy. Gotta put that out there. No diddy. Gotta put that out there. No diddy. No diddy. I'm only a comedian too at heart. Listen to me, right? I don't have nothing against the community now. Let's understand that. I don't have nothing against the community.
Goodness,
It's not be personal. Yeah, you did what I'm saying. So, but no,
digging.
on a serious note, but we all go through a lot of things, and sometimes we get in that little corner, whether it's in our houses, in our car, is on the streets. I have been homeless too. I know that feeling too. So we get in that little corner in that little bubble, and we like, I wish I had somebody to listen to me. I wish I had somebody to do this, or wish somebody had somebody to do that. Reach out to me. Take a moment and reach out to me. If you local, you within the DMV, we can meet up and talk. We can have lunch. We can go sit by the harbor. We could do whatever makes you feel comfortable, where you feel like you want to open up to. No diddy though.
No diddy. No diddy. And I just want to say this. I know with a lot of things going on in the world, and a lot of people don't feel comfortable having their children talk to strangers. You can be there. You can be prevalent.
Yes, yes, yes.
It's going to
Especially
be
if it's dealing with a child. That's
exactly
what we're not going to do. I'm not.
right.
I don't put myself in situations where I have to feel the slightest regret of doing something that I love passionately. So if it's a parent that if it's a child that sees this, that's watching this, and that I want to talk to him, but I don't want my mom or my dad to be there. Well, get somebody in your family that you trust to just sit there and listen to you talk to me.
That's right. And I want to open this up to people who want to bring him in as a speaker, to also get in contact with him. If you have children in a group home, or you have children, you want him to come to the school and talk, feel free.
Yes,
Let's seize the opportunity to get somebody who been there, done that, and
yes.
not going back and
Not
trying
going
to help somebody else and prevent somebody else from
from going.
taking that path he's taken.
Yeah,
So
it's not a good path. It's the recidivism rate of that. It's a revolving door. It's
that's
a
right.
cycle. And in case you don't know, back then when I went through it, they was getting about, I want to say, between 50 and 65, maybe 70,000 per inmate. That's what they call us. They don't call us by name. They call us inmate.
Mm,
So let's understand what that word means. It means you're my slave. You're
Jesus.
going to do what we tell you to do until
Wow.
your time here is no longer valid.
Wow.
But it's a revolving door. And as you walking through that door, you know what they tell you? Oh, you be back.
You be back. You be back. Yeah. That's because
It's officers that take pools. Or we taking pools on how long it'll take you to come back.
wow.
Right. So, if even if for the whatever situation that you're going through, whether it be a parent, a guardian, a child, a facilitator, uh, let's stop this. Let's stop this. Let's stop the cycle of the repeat cycle of going back to jail. Because remember, just because they're in jail, you're still doing time with them. You're worrying, you're stressing about how they doing in there, what's going on in there. It's not a pretty sight. It's not. They feeding us everything but dog food.
There it is,
The
y'all.
water in there is not even naturally hot.
Mm, there
So
it
you
is.
brush your teeth with cold water. You
Mm,
some in some institutions, your bathroom and your zinc is inside the cell with you,
mm,
and you got a cell buddy. So when you sitting there eating your lunch tray, your dinner tray, and your cell buddy got to use the bathroom, yeah, this is what it is.
mm,
That's not something that you know somebody want to keep visualizing.
mm.
When you sleep in the middle of the night, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, you hear the toilet flushing because they taking the number 2 or they taking the number 1.
He giving it to y'all raw. I mean,
It's not something that you want. It's not something that I could stomach. I stomach a lot of things. That's just something I can't stomach. I
mm,
can't.
wow. Well, Dante, thank you so much for being on.
You're welcome.
Again, if you want to reach him, he's on Facebook, Dante Gillie, and true to l-
You're living.
your living.
True to your living. That's what it is. It's not about me. I take your ideas, your passion, the things that you don't want to do, and I bring them to fruition for y'all.
There you go. He's
I'm
on
not a high.
Instagram.
Listen, I'm not. Though I do want to be rich, it ain't gonna cost you much. It's not. It's not gonna cost you much.
Go
And if
ahead.
you got a sense of humor, guess what? While I'm out there doing the work, you can be out there laughing.
And when you go to his page, y'all, true to you, on Facebook or Instagram, you'll get to see him reposting what people are saying about the business, and he sticks by the name. Hey, it's the Gillie name. We are where we are.
We are what we are. Shout out to
You
my
guys,
sister. My little sister been watching since we've been on. Both of my little
okay,
sisters, I love y'all dearly.
go ahead,
Man,
man.
we weathering the storm. My brothers, one of my brothers right now, he got a page. He got a company too, OSAP. My other brother got a company, New Money. So shout out to them. We doing the best that we can, holding it together, suffering that dealing with the loss that we have been dealt, dealing with the cards that we have been dealt. So we're doing our best to hold it together.
That's right. That's right. With that being said, Donta had to lay a say so. Donta, you finished?
Yeah, I'm finished. Until somebody reach out to me, man, I gotta be true to my living, man.
That's right. All
I'm
right,
about to eat these wings. I'm about to finish this glass of wine. Probably get another one. Time is
Look,
at 8:53. I'm
look,
about to
he has
curl
a
up with.
sense of
I'm
humor.
about to curl up with Sakai.
He got Sakai is his baby boy coming into the world. No, he got a sense of humor, y'all, and it is what it is. Donta is who
Yes.
Donta is, right?
Hey, look. Before we go, right? When that little boy do come, this will be pops.
You all have a great evening. I'm Lady G.
Mama, I got this Stella Rose for you too, Mama.
All right now, this is Wanda from Lady G from Transformer Lives. That's Donta Gillie, our special guest from Prison to Purpose. Tune in, reshare, and reshare. You have a great evening.